Hello, one and all Snark Spy reporting.
And this is the Spearman, the embracer of human good and analyst of fiction. And welcome to the last of our Try to Recall video series for the anime classic SymphoGear. I'm not sure what to call it. I was going to say cult classic, but I don't know if you could really consider it a cult classic.
I mean, it's not exactly the most mainstream. It certainly got its fans, pretty hardcore fans, in fact. But yeah, today we'll be looking at Seshi Sensho SymphoGear Axis, or AXZ.
AXZ, huh? Okay then. The most recent one would just come out last year, right?
Last year, or like 2 years ago.
Right, because they love taking their time. In some of
I
these
mean,
cases.
considering the production and values of season 5 so far, or they can take as long as they want.
Wow.
Not to mention they have a mobile game that they also support.
Really vouching for them if they're that way, if they're that good, huh?
Yeah.
Okay then, let's get started. Snark Spy.
So yeah, season 4 starts with a fairly slow scene with Hibiki and Miku working with homework, and Hibiki and Miku basically just being adorable together. This is quickly interrupted by the other girls of song on coming in a helicopter saying, "There's relics in a South African country that we need to retrieve because as terrorists are using them as weapons." We then get the opening, and directly after the opening, the girls are in a fictional country that has connections to Chris's past, and they are doing awesome things such as Hibiki parrying tank shells with her hands, and Tsubasa cutting tanks in half, and Chris is shooting people with rapid fire rubber bullets.
How much time has passed since the end of the first season? Has it been at least a couple years or 3 years?
Few months actually.
Oh, fuck that. I am so sick of these short time intervals with these things. This ain't Sailor Moon where everything literally happens in like less than a year or two.
Sailor Moon goes for 4 whole years.
It does?
Yes.
All the storylines?
Yes, the
Okay,
girls start off at 14 and end the series at 18 going into college.
I had no idea. Is that the manga, the anime?
Both.
Shows what I know.
Clearly.
Oh, fuck you.
So, yeah. And with the short amount of time that things have been going on, the girls clearly have gotten better. Hibiki's fighting style has finally settled. Goes from the Jeet Kune Do karate hybrid to the Chinese martial art Baji Quan. Because the former Fine girls don't have the drug that makes them able to use their Sympho gears, their running support, or dodging missiles by opening up the chopper and doing all that. And Tsubasa is the attack of Divine Judgment, the gigantic sword thing from the first season that up to this point never did anything. He uses it to cut in half a gigantic airship that Hibiki evacuated through with the power of her fists. Yes. And the characters are barely he done congratulating themselves on the things when it's revealed that Chris actually has a friend who's in this country. She was a friend of their parents and was essentially her guardian. A season 1 plot point that I didn't bring up because it wasn't all that important was that Chris is his family are a were a traveling group of songstresses who did humanitarian aid. They got caught up in a war and killed by most likely the same terrorists that they just took down. And Chris was sold into slavery. Yeah, human trafficking. Yeah, Fine had to get her from somewhere, and it's a blink and you miss it. It reference to it in season 1 that you wouldn't get unless you were really, really looking forward to it, looking for it. So yeah, she has people in this country that she cares about. And then we're introduced to our villains for this season in Saint Germain, Cagliostro, and the third one, I completely forgot who the third member was, but they are the Bavarian Illuminati.
What Illuminati?
The Bavarian Illuminati.
Bavarian?
Yes.
Is that a real country or is it?
I mean, it's an actual real organization. They're basically the people whom everyone has the Illuminati memes about.
Okay then.
Yeah. Whom start off very threateningly by summoning a gigantic snake monster, or with the ability to, when it receives a fatal wound, rewind its time, so that it's not dead anymore. This is referred to as a divine protection. And Saint Germain and Co. will very much would like to have this thing to help them and further their goals. Goals of basically basically undoing all of Fine's work and just kind of keeping people and uniting the world through their own means as opposed to Fine's means.
Wait, we're at Fine again?
She's an overarching character.
Haven't they done enough with her?
No. Oh, not really. She's important. She's basically part of the whole meta plot for this whole thing, because it's just like, who was the guy who set up the gigantic moon anti-translators thing in the first place? We found out this season that they're known as the custodians, but yeah, being is still important.
I feel like this is just a really annoying anime trope of having this character or organization being connected with all these other things throughout the rest of the franchise, series, whatever.
I mean, they do it fairly well.
Okay, continue.
But yeah, in fact, we do, and the thing that they needed help with was receiving a brand new auto scorer known as Tiki. Yeah. And we even find out, oh yeah, Carol was part of this group, and the very Illuminati are alchemists. It's much like Carol was. So, after a couple of character drama moments, Chris having to shoot the leg off a kid who had a noise latched onto him to save his life. I've realizing, oh hey, Papa Kazunari, he is not happy with Tsubasa's whole thing. And a fun little tidbit where you see in a flashback that Saint Germain in Cagliostro in the third one, alongside Tiki, he fought against Fine, whom we actually see in a pirate outfit. it because, yeah, that's because why not? We're bringing back like every single plot point from the previous seasons, and Fine had absolutely nothing to do with the third season in anything. So good job. So that's at our protagonists is now have to deal with our actual big bad of this season, an Adam Weishaupt, whom introduces himself by turning a chunk of gold about yay big into a nuclear bomb.
Of course.
Yep. Which honestly he is one of the most interesting about him, because amongst the villains, he's one of the least entertaining. But still. So yeah, while this is going on, Elf9 has a subplot where she is attempting to decipher Dr. Vere's notes on how to make what the drug known as Linker, or to help the former Fine girls actually get to fighting. The characters themselves actually, this takes a bit, but before that point, the villains as of this season, Saint Germain, Cagliostro, and the third one, on all give themselves their own Faust robes, and they're all Prelati. That's the third one. There we go, Prelati, because Prelati is the one who has a kendama as a weapon. Yeah, if you don't know what a kendama is, it's a hammer with a ball stuck on the side of it that just like bump, 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 and to try and get the ball on the. Not important.
Okay.
So yeah. After they discover that they kind of outclass the new villains, and the villains are kind of running out of ways of trying to keep the characters from doing what they do through various means. First, by trapping them in a dimension that sucks their energy, which was counteracted by them just outputting more energy than they could do. Then they did it by just kind of singling out each of the characters by taking away their teamwork, and at which point when Genjiro realizes, you know what, we need to make sure that at this series he doesn't just have one ship per pair of characters. Everyone trade partners, so that we can have a brand new team of attacks. So Chris, it teams up with Maria, Tsubasa teams up with Shirobei, and Kirika teams up with Hibiki. And training montage time, where Genjiro, showing that he is the most badass character of this show, hands the SymphoGears their butts with little to no effort. Which also, slight detail, we see that Chiki is actually reading a manga of Little Red Singing Hood, meaning that at Chris's live from the beginning of the previous season was actually made into an anime, just so that they can use that as a cover story.
Okay then, that's nice.
So yeah, the season continues on with Saint Germain in realizing that Adam really is not the best guy. Elf9 keeps trying to go through Dr. Vere's things and realizes, you know what? Let's go into Maria's subconscious so that I can figure out if she actually remembers something of this whole thing. Which, honestly, he is as good a reason to give Elf 9 something to do. So while our heroes first defeat Cagliaro's show, then Prelati, Elf 9 goes into Maria's thing, and inside of her memories, Dr. Bear appears.
God damn it. Why won't this fucker stay away?
Because he's voiced by Mamoru Miyano, and people freaking love people love Mamoru Miyano.
Well then, fuck me.
So yeah. So as the most popular villain of the series so far, are trolls them in Maria's memories, because this is basically a recreation of Dr. Vera based on Maria's perception of him. They discover that the secret ingredient of the linker was actually love.
What?
Yep.
Secret ingredient for what again?
Linker, the material that allows Maria, Shirabe, and Kirika to actually fight.
Oh.
Yeah, it was actually love, or more specifically...
By Rare?
Yes.
What the...
Or more specifically, the part of the brain in which produces the love of serotonin. Yeah, that produces serotonin.
It sounds better than what they did in Frozen.
But yeah, so the Mamoru Miyano cameo done. And we're now down to one alchemist and one bastard of Adam and Tiki, because as Adam, I'm wanting to basically become a god.
Of course.
Odd is attempting to gain a source of divine power. He does this by using Tiki's use as astronomy robots to find the exact points where the most power lies. As before the final battle, old Hibiki and Kirika fight against Saint Germain, which is won by Kirika pulling out her swan song again. You're just like,
How many times is this now that Kirika does this?
Well, I mean, Kirika has used her swan song like 4 or 5 times by this point.
Wow. It must be really popular. It must be like fan service at this point.
I mean, the swan song is basically just the SymphoGear's ultimate attack. It's just kind of their finishing move.
Yeah, doesn't it make their eyes bleed? Eyes and mouth bleed?
Well, yes and no. If you got a low synchronization score with your SymphoGear, then it makes your eyes and mouth bleed and you die. But eventually the girls, except for Kirika, who's reliant on Linker, basically just have to figures out how to just not die when using their swan songs. Except Kirika is the one who uses her swan song the most, because DOGs, he'll hit you with that spear, with that scythe attack that rends your soul, one way or another.
Okay then.
So yeah, Kirika's out of commission. And ends. Right. Another plot point that I actually skipped over. Fool's Stone. The main villains in this time have the Philosopher's Stone. And so to counteract this, they find out that at a couple of the chunks that were or gotten out of Hibiki when she was almost impaled in season 1, and can actually be refined to make what's known as a full stone, because Hibiki is an idiot. And thus giving them the powers to counteract the Philosopher's Stones. So, yeah. When we go into... Then, Adam puts his plan into motion. And he gets the power of divine power and puts it into Utiki, where he will then proceed to try and take it out. Hibiki then punches Tiki enough to split her in half and kill her. And then Hibiki absorbs the divine power herself, completely on accident. Hibiki then turns into a gigantic cocoon, and we have a gigantic cliffhanger for episode 10. Yeah, we were just blazing through that. After season 1, the series just kind of gets easier and easier to explain. So, yeah. The next episode starts with Hibiki turning into a kaiju.
So, Gojira, Hibiki,
Yeah.
Hibiki.
So, yeah. Also, it's right before Hibiki's birthday. So to try and distract it, they bring in the ultimate Hibiki getting in line weapon. They bring in Miku, and she sings happy birthday to bring Hibiki back to her senses.
Please tell me she sings in adorable English.
I don't remember it actually in English, but it might have been in English. I might have to look that up, but I definitely know that it was adorable because Miku has a very nice singing voice, and despite the fact that her music style is dubstep, she's actually very talented.
I am totally looking into this later.
So, yeah. At which point, when seeing the gigantic kaiju monster, America decides, let's launch a nuke.
Those stupid Americans, they never do anything right.
Yeah. Just like, America, we only make things worse.
What do these anime writers of the show got against America, damn it?
I mean, they're in Japan. We kind of nuked them twice.
Yeah, I was going to say, World War II, who needed Americans?
So, yeah. Yeah, after it's revealed that Cagliostro and Prelotti survived their apparent deaths as they stopped the nuke. Ook and Adam then finally gets the divine power and turns himself into a gigantic kaiju. The synchronization of our heroes, those new power up this season, and is now unaffected by Hibiki because she never got the full stone installed into her new Gungnir. Here, which honestly does that, and we actually find out that at Hibiki's, however, her in their dying moments after stopping the nuke, the alchemists is then decide, you know what, we'll give you our powers and make Hibiki go golden in Hibiki. The entire final episode is Hibiki fighting against Adam in a one-on-one fight, where it's revealed that, oh hey, Hibiki's Gungnir, that was actually the spear that pierced Jesus Christ's side in his crucifixion. So Hibiki,
What the fuck?
So it's now a conceptual weapon that works, that's now super effective against divine powers. And Adam is now divine.
It's like Black Cat, where one of the main characters, Eve, was like trapped in this fake world with that boy, Adam. I laughed so fucking hard when I saw that.
Yeah. Well, regardless, Adam, now a gigantic monster, is now squaring off Hibiki, who has the power to kill gods.
Okay then.
Odds. Hibiki, he then pulls a JoJo and auras him to death. That's so hard, she punches right through him and impales him with her fists. The attack is known as Testament, and it's up to this point the only Hibiki attack that has had a name. Not even kidding. Hibiki throughout the entire first 4 seasons hasn't had a named attack by herself. Yeah. So yeah, Hibiki defeats Adam, and Adam warns her, I was the last thing that was keeping the custodians from returning and turning this world into a hellhole. Oh, you may have defeated me, but you will have to fight against my masters. Ominously doing. At which point, the season actually ends on an ominous note, where it's revealed that in season 2, when Hibiki and Miku got hit by Miku's gear-destroying laser, they were actually freed from the curse that the moon provided, and thus became pure beings.
Meaning like pure of darkness, or like?
Yeah, pure of darkness. Basically, they are extremely receptive to divine power, and that's why Hibiki was able to absorb the divine energy, meaning that Hibiki and Miku basically at this point are demigods.
My first guess was that they were cosmic entities when you said pure beings.
Yeah, no, divine entities, basically.
Isn't that the same thing?
Not entirely. There's a bit of a difference.
All right.
But yeah, so the season is basically set up for season 5, where we're now trying to finally, after 4 seasons, finally get to the actual big bad of the series. Because the custodians were mentioned in season 1 and brought up as the reason for all of this stuff in all of the other seasons. And in season 5, we're finally getting to the custodians.
Nice. But we don't see the big bad just yet. We just know that they're finally here. They're finally coming.
Basically, yes.
Okay, then. So that was the 4th season?
Yep, that was basically the 4th season.
Well, these past few videos have been very enlightening, Snark Spy, and very exciting.
Yeah.
Based on your summaries alone. And what comes after this? Is the 5th season already out?
Well, the first episode of the 5th season is out, and I'm actually going to be doing my very first report on the first episode.
Nice. And it's gonna be like one a week, one episode of SymphoGear a week.
Yep, along with 4 other series. I'm thinking SymphoGear might be.
Damn.
I'm thinking that SymphoGear might actually be getting in what's probably. Well, haven't decided on a day that it'll come out, but it'll be a weekly thing. Look forward to that.
Okay, nice, very nice. What the fuck was that?
Not sure.
Really, Spy? Because I think you know something about all this. Spy! Spy! Snark Spy!